What up, Leaguers? Welcome to the spectacular spoiler show. I'm the Panda and Superman, the mayor of Hype City, HazyRome, and as always, I'm joined by the God of Night, the Prime Minister of Post-Production, DeepBoyce. And today we're in the Hall of Spoilers for something a little bit different, everybody. So we've been doing some weekly one-shot episodes where we talk about Arrowverse and DC TV, and we realized that you guys really like it when we're just kicking it back, relaxing, joking, cracking jokes, laughing, whatever we're doing. And we figured, why not bring that feel to something different? So you could think of this as something like a podcast, something like a bit of a chill conversation, whatever you want to call it. We're calling it for now the Spectacular Spoiler Show. Can it change? It most definitely, I don't know. But what I can tell you is that we're here today to talk about a variety of topics, including current events. That includes some trailers that have been dropping and whatever else me and DeepBoyce have in mind. So we're going to try to make this a weekly thing. It could change. The timing, whenever they're going to air, could change. But what we're trying to say is this is the first of something that we want to bring to you. Thank you guys for coming out to the live streams because I think you guys appreciate what we do. With that being said, DeepBoyce.
Yes.
We have some business to handle, man. Deadpool 2.
Some business. Great intro.
Deadpool 2. Deadpool, thank you. I appreciate that. Deadpool 2.
Yes.
Even better intro to the movie. Okay. Dropping trailers, dropping some dope stuff, cracking mad jokes in the vein that Deadpool should. DeepBoyce, any thoughts? What are your feelings on the trailer? Any predictions? Talk to me about the debut of Cable. They showed us Domino and possibly a proto X-Force team,
possibly all of the above. We don't know, and honestly, I think that's what's most interesting about what we saw in this Deadpool 2 trailer. That's going to be hard to say throughout the entirety of this podcast. I'm going to mess it up a million times, but no, I totally agree. I mean, I'll be honest. Coming into it, it's not that I had a problem, I guess, with Deadpool 2 or anything.
So Blasphemous about to come in here, y'all.
Or any type of gripe. It's just, there's a lot going on in the realm of comic book media. I mean, we're probably going to talk about this on some other occasion with, particularly to some other things that we watch. But there's a lot. All right? We're living in a great period of time where pretty much whatever you want is out there in some form or another. So with Deadpool, I was like, well, I don't got a problem, but if it's here, it's here. If it's not, it's not. It is what it is. We went to see the first Deadpool together, and it was a decent movie. I'd say it's a good movie. I wasn't blown away. It wasn't the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life, but I think they did a good job of translating Wade Wilson / Ryan Reynolds, because I don't know which one is which at this point.
It's a Robert Downey Jr. Tony Stark situation with Ryan Reynolds and Deadpool, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's just the charisma, and that's the thing. The trailer kind of got me interested in what they're probably going to put out there. To kind of put it succinctly, it was a very well done trailer. I liked pretty much everything that they put out there. I mean, Deadpool got a little silly with some of the stuff he was doing there at one point. I get what the joke was. I was like, okay, this is going on for a little too long. I get it. Yeah. It is what it is. But everything else outside of that, all the cool stuff that they showed, I thought it was pretty on point. And like I said...
what jokes didn't you like? Because now I'm curious. Now you got me curious. What didn't you like? Like, talk to me, man. What was the issue?
All right, I'm just going to switch to it here live on stream so that people can also see it. Okay, here we go. Bong.
Take your time.
So, yes, the trailer starts, and it's kind of, again, Deadpool's a movie that's self-referential, makes fun of itself, makes fun of everything else. And then it's Cable being introduced. We'll get into that into a second. But to answer your question, it was Deadpool coming in, and he's like, "Oh, let me take control of this, because people aren't doing the job in the FX department." And it's like, okay, I get it. But then he's out here playing with his action figures, and then it ends with Deadpool, Deadpool action figure with his crotch in Cable's action figure, and I was like, all right, you're gonna show me something Or are you gonna keep reiterating what you've always done, which is, oh, Deadpool is Deadpool. He's making some jokes out here, funny. But they immediately cut into the dope stuff after that. Just a gripe, small gripe. That's all.
Well, first of all, let me just comment to the people in the live stream before I rebuttal. Complimenting another mug from the HazyRome collection. That's my first order mug.
Who's that?
I don't know where I'm getting these mugs from.
Is that Darth Vader?
But that's Kylo Ren, man.
Oh,
it's Kylo Ren. He's so evil that he's messed up the edges of the picture. Look at this. Isn't that insane? He used the Force to mess up the mug.
Who is that?
What a bad man, yo.
Who's Kylo Ren?
Don't you hate on Star Wars right now, okay? That's another conversation for another day, okay? That's another conversation for another day. But all right, Deadpool playing with his toys was actually a lead into a Thanos reference right there. Like when he puts the toy's crotch in like Josh Brolin's Cable's face, and he goes, "Oh, I've got the stones to help you." He's talking about the Infinity Stones, the reference to the Infinity Stones. There's also another part in the trailer where I think what is it that he jokes on? He jokes on something.
I think it's Superman's mustache. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, he jokes on Superman's mustache with the whole, you guys didn't finish the CG thing. The whole thing with his arm not being finished, Cable's arm not being finished, and there being the green screen on the arm or the green sleeve on the arm. There's also another Thanos reference where Cable utters the words. I think he says, "F it, I'll do it myself." See, and this is a PG-13 stream, guy. We ain't trying to drop no F-bomb. I mean, you're welcome to drop whatever you want, DeepBoyce, but I'm not gonna be dropping F-bombs so that neighbors peek out there. Hey, stop dropping the F-bombs. I'm not trying to have that. But he says, "F it, I'll do it myself." If you guys don't understand that reference, that's a reference to one of the end credit scenes from the end of Age of Ultron, in which Thanos approaches an Infinity Gauntlet that has no stones, and he says, "I'll do it myself." So it's a reference to all of that. There's also a potential third reference that I think refers to that toy scene once again. So when Deadpool's toy version of himself first drops in, he starts to say, "Oh, you look taller in," and he's playing Cable, and Cable cuts him off. Wade Wilson playing Cable cuts him off, and he goes, "Shut up," or something along those lines. When he was gonna say, like, "You look taller in," I think he was going to say, "You look taller in Infinity War," because Thanos is this huge hunkering dude, and you see him kind of hunkering over Iron Man before he knocks his lights out. So I think it was a couple of Thanos references there, just for the sake of being Deadpool and referencing external source material,
and making fun of Disney via Toy Story.
That's true, because when the toys flipped over, on the bottom of each one of their feet said Wade, like Andy would write his name on the Toy Story toy. So interesting stuff there, and in that respect, it's just Deadpool being Deadpool. But listen, okay. Let me preface it by saying, when I watched the movie with you, when I went and saw the movie with you, and another one of our friends, I enjoyed it, but I felt like I didn't hype it up as much as a lot of other people hyped it up, because I felt that a lot of the jokes were just like kiddie jokes. And listen, that's Deadpool to a certain extent, but I wasn't out in the theater like slapping my knee with laughter dogs.
You sure?
You know I wasn't. Because you were kind of hating on me saying that I didn't like the movie, even though it was true.
No,
okay, don't think I forgot that, DeepBoyce. You were telling lies on me. Okay, that's not what happened, sir. But when I see this trailer, like, I think because I'm just accustomed to Deadpool and Ryan Reynolds being wacky, I was like, it's cool. But I enjoyed what I saw only because I felt like there was some substance being delivered in terms of like there being some sort of plot, some sort of I think what it is Cable bringing a little bit of grit to the situation. So it's not just
I was gonna say
Ryan Reynolds,
that was one of the cooler
Deadpool
parts.
being funny.
Yeah.
Right. It's also Cable sort of bringing a dynamic, somebody to play off of.
Being straight.
So it's right, exactly. So it sort of gives a little bit of an odd couple, like play off of each other, and I think that actually works to the trailer's benefit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That being said, I wasn't entirely like. Once again, I think Deadpool is like, huh. Like, I think the movie franchise has established the huh this is funny. But I feel like there's a lot of people that are like, oh my gosh, this is hilarious. I'm like, come on, guys.
Here's the way I personally look at it. I think what's most important, in my opinion, is that they get the Deadpool character correct. Just in general, I find Deadpool like hilarious half of the time. Like I do think he's funny about 50% of the time. The other 50%, he's being super corny, but it's being true to the character. Like he's supposed to, he's the merc with the mouth, so he's constantly just saying just nonsense. You know what I mean? True. And I've yet to kind of see any sort of rendition where I'm just like, okay, enough. Not to take shots at Harley Quinn, but that's usually the one character where I'm like, okay, enough with this character. Deadpool, being someone that is, if they could, Marvel would put him in everything. Like, just like they, you know, Harley Quinn isn't like in everything for some reason. Deadpool, I mean, in the comics, Deadpool has at least like 5 comics. Like, and then spin-offs of him are also comics. Like, he has a whole bunch of team-up comics and all that. I'm pretty sure, I wouldn't be surprised whenever, because it's an if at this point, if the Fox-Disney merger happens, I wouldn't be surprised if we see even more of Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool in a whole bunch of other things. Because that's, you know, he sells. He's like super popular. He is. He's become super popular. I guess maybe, the last decade maybe? I don't know where this kind of came out of nowhere.
I think that's accurate.
Yeah.
I think it's accurate.
So, like I said, I think what's important is that they're doing this character right.
Yeah.
And they're not taking away from actually making a good movie just to cater to this character. Like, they complement each other, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I think you're right in saying, and I see that, you know, Jason Todd in the chat agrees with you. For those in the live stream, they definitely did get Deadpool like very accurate to the comics, and I think for me with Deadpool, I sort of align more with how other comic books characters sort of react to him, where it's just kind of like, you know, like I like Deadpool and I think he's funny, and there's definitely times where I'm like, ha, you know, but like he annoys, you know, and I think that's intentional, where he annoys you to the point of being funny. It's just like, my opinion isn't that I don't like Deadpool, it's just that I'm not like other people who just laugh. Like when we saw Deadpool, the amount of people laughing actually like almost ruined my experience. Just because everybody's like,
I was gonna say,
is there Joker gas in here? Like, what is going on?
I was gonna say that
laughing so maniacally.
The things that I found the funniest, not that like nobody laughed at in that movie. Like I don't know if you remember the scene. There's a scene where he's making fun of himself, Ryan Reynolds as Green Lantern, and he makes fun of like Wolverine.
Yeah,
I thought that was hilarious. I was like, wow, that was really clever. But it was like crickets in the room.
Right.
Meanwhile, next scene is like something going up Deadpool's butt, and everybody's like falling over. And I'm like, okay, not bad, but you guys kind of missed some of the good stuff here. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe that's another part of why that was a good movie, or why it was a successful movie, because there was at least something for everyone to kind of extrapolate from it. Because maybe those like more deep cut comic book references, most people were just like, yeah, or they didn't really get it. And I personally, I was like, oh, I appreciate it. Like, those were the things that I remember the most out of Deadpool. And even, I mean, again, now they're doing it with the trailer, and they've been doing it since the first one with all of the social media campaign, the PR campaign.
Right.
I didn't think of any of that when I saw the trailer at least 3 times. What you told me about the whole toy scene, none of that crossed my mind at all. Like, I didn't realize that. And I'm like, you know, I appreciate that. That little bit of detail they threw in there.
There's a couple other subtle references in that scene for those of you guys who want to pick the scene apart. And I'm sure that there's things that I didn't even catch, but the Bob Ross painting that was sort of part of the viral marketing campaign earlier on, in the Deadpool 2. Yeah, that is hard to say, like you said earlier. Deadpool 2, and I'm drinking like this. There's a little bit of moonshine in this. I'm not gonna lie, and it's just getting harder as I drink more. But pause. That sounded definitely not what I intended that to be. But in the top right corner of that scene, kind of when they pan out and you see Deadpool and he's playing with the toys, you actually see a Bob Ross painting, or the Bob Ross painting that he painted over in the top right. And there's, I think, a couple items around the room that he's actually used to kill people in the previous movie or something along those lines. So yeah, man, a bunch of stuff in there that are pretty cool, man. But I see a couple people talking about Domino and Cable. Mm-hmm. I don't know which one you want to move on to first, you know, but give me your thoughts on the other one of those, man. Just shoot on.
They got Cable right from what I've seen.
Mm.
Obviously the movie hasn't come out, so we'll see when the movie actually comes out. But this is a good adaptation of that character. A character that is, to me, he's one of those characters that is very difficult to adapt.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure they're not going to get into his backstory or delve too much into that, because Marvel Comics doesn't even really know how to portray his backstory in a way that makes any sense. I mean, long story short, he's a time paradox. Right, he's got the techno-organic arm, there's a virus that he was infected with when he was a baby.
Yeah, and that picture you have up right now, he's even got a little bit of that techno-virus mechanical, growth growing on his neck a little bit there too, if you can see it.
Yeah, so he was affected with that when he was a kid, and what it does is it consumes your flesh and turns you into a robot. He was injected by somebody working for Apocalypse, so he was sent into the future, where they had the technology to keep him alive, and his own telepathy, telekinetic powers, he's super powerful, but it's dampened because he has to keep that back from consuming him. So then he's I hate Apocalypse, I'm gonna go back in time, and long story short, he's the reason why Apocalypse becomes cybernetic in the first place. So it's like a loop. He results in Apocalypse, gaining the celestial technology, and then when he's a baby, that's when the Apocalypse infects him with the virus. So then he gets sent to the future. It's confusing. It's confusing.
Yeah.
They shouldn't bother with that in the movie. They should like I said, they got the good aspects of that character right, where he's again supposed to be the straight man to Deadpool. We haven't seen too much of that interaction between the two of them. I think they're going to save that for the movie, which is probably a smart move, because all you need to do is sell the movie with Deadpool. That's what they did with the first one, and that was more than enough. So
that should lead a man. Why? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So sell the movie with Deadpool, save all that good stuff for the movie, and really kind of present, like you said, there's a gritty, he already seems different and unique in a certain way. I can't really quite put my finger on it. I guess also credit to Josh Brolin, who's a really great actor.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's gonna have a big year this year, man.
He's gonna make
Deadpool
money.
Deadpool 2, bro, and Avengers Infinity War are releasing 2 weeks apart. Yeah. Avengers Infinity War is May 4th. We're gonna talk about Infinity War a little bit later on. But that's coming out May 4th.
Yeah.
And Deadpool's coming out May 18th.
Yeah.
So my man's gonna be stacking that comic book money, man. Gonna be going in, man. But to my understanding, right, and I go to you because I feel like you know a little bit more about this than me. Mm. Cable is the son of Cyclops and Madeline Pryor, who is a clone of Jean Grey.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
That is correct.
How much do you think they're going to go into at least a connection to Cyclops? Do you think they'll maybe simplify it and do Jean Grey? How do you think they're going to go into his parentage? Because if you remember the first Deadpool movie, and you guys can comment on this, in the chat or in the comment section, I feel like they sort of they tied into the X-Men very clearly, but they didn't really tie into the themes of the X-Men, which is mutant issues, and I'm gonna actually talk about that in a second too. Mm-hmm. The issues between mutants and humans. I mean, he shows up to X-Men, the X-Men Xavier Institute or X-Men Mansion, whatever you want to call it. Mm-hmm. Nobody's home. It's just Teenage Negasonic Warhead and Colossus. So how much do you think they're gonna bring in that classic X-Men lore into Cable's origins or Deadpool at large?
Wow, that is a great question.
That's why I had to sip some juice after I said it, because I knew it was good. I was like,
that I wish I had a very comprehensive answer for. My off the top of my head, my answer is they're only gonna really touch on it to make some jokes.
Okay. That's a smart answer.
I think they're gonna give it the Terminator 1 treatment, where it's he's from the future, but let's not get into all the details. There's something that we gotta do right now. It seems like there's some sort of they have to rescue somebody or save some people that are probably pivotal to the future, and that's probably as far as they'll go. In terms of, like you said, his lineage. Really, what confuses me when I think about that answer is the X-Men movies outside of this. I don't know where they stand with that. We don't even know which one of those movies are supposed to come out. When they kind of moved the date for a few of those. So at most they'll probably refer to, I guess, the quote unquote classic X-Men movies, which were, I'm forgetting the guy's name that plays Cyclops.
You're not gonna get that from me.
Oh, yeah. Well, basically the Hugh Jackman X-Men movies from back in the day. So we're talking about X-Men 1, 2, and 3.
The original X-Men trilogy.
Yes, original X-Men trilogy. There was no Madeline Pryor. James Marsden. Yes.
Is that correct?
I believe so.
Okay.
So maybe they'll refer to that character. But I don't know if they'll make him pivotal to the story in any way, because that's gonna really, they're gonna have to really dig deep into the Summers family, which is kind of important in X-Men lore. But it's not necessarily important to Deadpool lore. So which direction are they going to be moving in? More X-Men-y stuff, or just Deadpool and X-Force? So
that's true. It's a good point.
I think they're kind of going more towards the X-Force type of thing, and Cable's just going to be a badass from the future coming back into the past. So to answer your question, it's probably maybe some jokes, because
that's a smart move. That's a smart move, I think.
But
I'd like to think that you're probably right about that.
But here's the thing: we already in these X-Men movies have like alternate timelines, sort of.
True.
So there's like a couple different ways that they can go. They could just acknowledge that there's an alternate timeline. Just the fact that Cable's from a future and him traveling, that creates an offshoot of a timeline. They can acknowledge, they can say whatever they want about the Summers family that have nothing to do with the movies they already showed. And there you go. Bada bing, bada boom. Or they could say, it would be, I guess, interesting if they somehow tie it to Days of Future Past. And that, Cable is from one of those futures, either the original one that they went back to save, or the one that was in the future that was dystopian and everyone disappeared. Maybe they could do that.
Didn't think about that.
Yeah, maybe they could do that. And that's the future where Cyclops died, because that's tied to X-Men 3. So I don't know how they would tie that in there, but that's another avenue they could take.
You might even argue, in support of your X-Men Days of Future Past theory, you might even argue that Days of Future Past is maybe their most successful mainline X-Men movie that they've had, like most recently. Because X-Men Apocalypse disappointed, and I think before that was Days of Future Past, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, yeah, that was a good movie.
So that was a great movie. I enjoyed that. It didn't do anything to solve the First Class trilogy, original trilogy X-Men issues, but it was good. But I want to answer a question, or rather respond to a statement from Jason Todd, and then I'm gonna hit you with a question from Radioactive Gecko that I really liked. But Jason Todd, in response to me asking about the X-Men connection, he said not much. He doesn't think there's gonna be much of an X-Men connection in Deadpool, because he says the X-Men are not doing good for them, meaning Fox, right now. Hence the reason they are selling to Disney. I think it's a little bit of an oversimplification of the situation with Fox and Disney.
Yeah.
While some of their movies, particularly X-Men Apocalypse, may have underperformed critically, the X-Men movies are making a lot of money for Fox. Yeah. Not on the levels of Marvel, not on the levels of even DC, maybe, possibly, I'm not sure. But they're still making money. And I think that the telltale sign that that's not necessarily accurate is the fact that they were continuing to develop. I mean, we've gone through this in previous videos, how many movies Fox has in development, or had in development. They still have them in development, technically. No matter how troubled they are, they have a lot of movies that they're trying to make from the X-Men. Like, if a property's not doing good, you sort of like, say, all right, maybe we need to cut our losses. They were intent on continuing to go, particularly with X-Men Dark Phoenix. The fact that they were willing to continue their main X-Men storyline means that there's something there. As pertains to the reason why Fox is selling to Disney, it's actually more of a larger issue with Fox as opposed to the movie properties themselves. So Fox wants to consolidate itself to focus more on news-based content. So they basically were going on a fire sale with some of their assets in order to consolidate. That's really what Fox was doing. It was a consolidation thing. It wasn't like, oh, the X-Men movies aren't making us money. We're wasting our money on movies. Get these out of here. It was about consolidation. And when you consolidate, yes, you're maybe giving away valuable properties, but the idea is that if you can focus on one thing, you can maximize the profits from said one thing. And it's still not one thing, but the main thing they were focusing on is news. And that in and of itself is sort of a simplification of the situation. But I just wanted to make clear that it's not the fact that, X-Men was doing badly for Fox, because there have been bad X-Men movies and they continue to make them and develop them. I mean, Gambit, Dark Phoenix, the Deadpool trilogy, the X-Force movies. We talked about how they were trying to. I mean, remember they were trying to do the James Franco movie, Multiple Man.
Yeah.
The Multiple Man movie, with Jamie Madrox. So I don't. That's not the case. You know what I mean? And you could take a look at the financials and stuff like that. So, the spinoffs are doing better, as you said, but they're still continuing the main line as we see with them they're willing to remake essentially the storyline for one of their most popular movies, X2. They're willing to make Dark Phoenix. That's how much they believe in the X-Men, regardless of the critical reception of a movie like X-Men Apocalypse.
Yeah.
Because before X-Men Apocalypse, I think it was Days of Future Past, and that was received well and made a lot of money. So X-Men Apocalypse is really sort of the only failure in recent years, if you will. But I want to ask a question from Radioactive Gecko, and I want you to answer this one, DeepBoyce, because I feel like you can give some insight into this. But he says, technically, isn't Deadpool not a mutant? Correct me if I'm wrong, but he didn't have the X gene. So he wants you to elaborate that. I want you to elaborate on that, but what do you think? Because I feel like Deadpool does have an X gene. I think what it is the movies stated that he does have an X gene, and what Ajax was doing was forcing people to exhibit that X gene. So he had the X gene, but he mutated in an unnatural way, if that makes sense.
Yes.
It wasn't. I think that's what the Deadpool movies established. Now I don't know about the comics. I think in the comics he's a mutant, right? See, that's a deep cut right there. But I don't remember. Predator Magnus is saying he does not have the X gene.
To my knowledge, he wasn't born a mutant, but he is still classified as a mutant. I guess he exists in sort of like a gray area. Because he's not the only character that wasn't initially a mutant, and some sort of gene splicing happened, or maybe they took a mutant growth hormone or something and it gave them powers for an extended period of time or permanently. But that is actually an interesting question that I myself
people in the chat saying he's not a mutant.
I'm not gonna go outright and say that he's not, because he is referred to as a mutant. He is. I mean, obviously he's associated with mutants and the X-Men all the time.
Sure.
That's a good question. I would honestly like to kind of look into that.
Yeah.
Again, given his backstory, he wasn't born that way. All he has is he has the healing factor that they gave him from Wolverine.
Yeah.
And he has his skills and his abilities, and he had like a teleportation device. Obviously, that has something to do with genetics.
Yeah.
But I think he is considered a mutant.
Right. But an artificial mutant, maybe?
Well,
I don't know.
Here's the thing that makes it a character like Beast. I mean, initially Beast.
A whack character like Beast. I'm just trying to fix that statement for you. A whack character.
Listen, he's a staple of the X-Men. All right, he's an OG.
He's a staple of things that put me in comas, bro.
I'm just saying, Beast is a mutant, but he didn't have the blue fur. He was trying to experiment on himself to get rid of his mutant abilities, and he had a mutation. And he's not the only mutant character that has had secondary mutations.
Okay.
And also, there are technicalities like a character such as Thanos, who is a mutant. but he's not human. That's something that they don't really throw out there.
Thanos is a mutant?
That's why Thanos is a celestial. No, not a celestial. He's oh man. I'm blanking on the name. They're not celestials.
A Titan?
Well, they're called Titans because they live. They're from the moon of Titan.
Right.
I'm gonna look it up because this is important.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I think what I will say while DeepBoyce looks that up is I think that Deadpool in the movie, I think the whole thing that Ajax was doing was that people have there's some people who have like latent X genes, and he was forcing the mutation for these people. So it was sort of like an unnatural evolution of their powers, or their latent powers. So, yeah, I think Thanos. In terms of what Thanos is, we got Predator Magnus saying that he's an Eternal.
There we go.
That sounds right.
Yes.
He's an Eternal.
He's an Eternal,
yes,
but he's a mutant of that race.
Gotcha.
And there are other like mutant offshoots. So, like I said, it's a gray area. I personally would consider Deadpool a mutant. He wasn't born with an X gene. He wasn't born as a mutant, but he, for all intents and purposes, is currently a mutant.
Okay. That brings into another question of other people's mutancy, because I saw it come up and I kind of want to detour into it because now I'm interested in it. So people brought up Fantastic Four, Hulk, Spider-Man, Cap. Mutant or not? Let's play a little mini game here. Mutant or not? Mutant or not? X gene or no X gene?
They're not.
How
mutants.
does it work?
They're not mutants.
I agree. I think they certainly don't have the X gene, from my understanding. They certainly don't They
don't have the
Captain
X gene,
America,
and they weren't spliced in any way with other mutants. That's the thing. Deadpool was spliced with Wolverine's DNA.
They're mutants in the sense that they have mutated in the traditional sense. They're something inside their cells have mutated.
They're metas.
But they're not mutated in the X gene Marvel Comics definition.
They're metas. I know that's more of a DC thing, but they're also considered meta-human.
Okay, I got you. Okay, that works. It works. And Marvel Comics mutants, as Predator Magnus said, in Marvel Comics mutants are people with the X gene. That's it. People with the X gene. So that needs to be our next video series. Jason Todd said that needs to be our next video series, mutant or not.
No, I mean Predator Magnus. That's correct in terms of mutate. Mutant is more of a general term, but the specific term within Marvel Comics is a mutate. But that doesn't sound as catchy. It doesn't sound as interesting.
Yeah.
But there are other mutants that aren't mutates, that aren't descended from humans. I know we're getting a little bit off topic, but that's an interesting question. Is Deadpool a mutant? We'll probably have to get back to that.
I mean, listen, guys. To regular humans like us, they're all freaks. All right.
Muties.
Every one of them. Every last one of them.
Gene freaks.
Freaks. Speaking of freaks, man.
Yes.
I want to touch on one more thing from the Deadpool trailer. We kind of didn't talk about Domino.
We did not.
But
hold on.
All right, let's talk about Domino.
Talk about Sazier. I don't know how to pronounce her name correctly. Sazier Beats. That's the actress.
You ain't gonna help me. You ain't gonna help me with that. I mean, I'm not gonna help you with that. You dug your hole. You dug that. I was just gonna call it Domino, but you had to go digging into that one, bro. You did that on your own. I think it's Sazy Beats, but
Sazy.
Yeah, but so we didn't really get much from Domino here. She looks pretty cool. Yeah. I think a lot of people that were hating on her look, I think that she looks pretty cool. We didn't get much from her though. But there's a scene with her fighting. I think we have a screenshot of it. The scene with her fighting.
The Mac-10.
Yes.
With a holographic sight on there. She's going in. And she got a knife on it too.
I can't even. What is that?
She looks like it has a knife attachment.
What the heck?
And an extended clip. That doesn't seem very practical, but her powers are. She has good luck powers, so I guess she can make use of that. She's not gonna. She's not gonna be able to hit anything with that. We
we got another image of her. If you could pull that up, she's like elbowing somebody. She's like punching somebody or something like that. But in that picture, I didn't want to focus on necessarily Domino, but let me know if you can find the picture. But
yes,
there's a sign there that says something along the lines of like humanity, purity. I think it says something else. What else does it say, DeepBoyce? If you have the picture, I don't remember what it says. I think it says humanity, purity, and something else.
Okay.
But
yeah, I'm gonna just kind of slide it over so people can see.
Feel free.
Purity, humanity, infinity. What?
Yes.
Another deep cut.
So we were talking about the whole idea of mutants and themes portrayed in the X-Men movies as pertains to Deadpool. And I think that this movie may actually bring in something that is a theme that I brought up earlier that's common in the X-Men movies. And that is the idea of mutants versus humans. And this whole idea of human superiority versus mutant superiority. And that sign, purity, humanity, infinity, I mean, what does that tell you? Purity, someone who doesn't have the X gene. You know what I'm saying? Infinity, humans forever. Like that whole idea where it's like, it's all about us, not that.
I'm going to take it even further there, Hazy. Because we talked about this before in videos that we've done before.
Sure.
Talking about the X-Men and villains and characters.
Yeah.
But I think they're going to take a page from what The Gifted is also thrown out there. And that's talk about the Purifiers. Particularly led by William Stryker, who was an X-Men too. But William Stryker, they portrayed him as just like a military man. But in the comics, he's like an evangelical who sees mutants as something of the devil. And he has like basically a fanatical following of people. And not only does he try to push legislation, but he commits some like very bad, heinous terrorist acts against unsuspecting mutants.
To be clear, are you saying that William Stryker is going to appear in this movie, or you think he is?
I think at the very least the Purifiers, to some capacity.
Okay.
And to further, I guess, back that point up, I need to find the proper screenshot because we see them on some sort of train or truck. I'm not even entirely sure what it is.
I think it might be a truck. I don't know, but I think it might be a truck. I think it's like a truck that has like connected pieces, but I think I know what you're referring to. You're referring to like the organization, the DMC organization.
Yes.
Which I don't know what that stands for, but I know M could stand for mutants, and I know C could stand for something like control, something like that. I don't know. Maybe there's some hints in the comics in that regard.
DMC? No, that seems rather new to me, to be quite honest.
Only Devil May Cry. That's the first thing I thought of. Run DMC.
DMC, maybe it's
my black ass was like, run DMC. Maybe it's like Christmas in Harlem, everybody.
It's just another acronym there for a faceless organization, corporation, bureaucracy.
Sure.
That will serve to harm mutants in some way, shape, or form. Again, it seems like there are people that are inmates or they're held up or something's going on where
sure.
I guess because also this movie is supposed to be the formation of X-Force, is it not?
I don't know. And that's actually the last point I wanted to bring up, so I guess we could just tie it all in together. But I think that there is this idea of mutants being captured. I think because there's actually a shot of they didn't declare during the trailer, but there's actually a shot of Cannonball, and he's wearing prison garb, and also Wade Wilson there's also a shot of him wearing that same like DMC prison garb. But there's a shot coming out of an airplane, or coming out of where we see a bunch of characters in the back of an airplane, and we see Deadpool next to Domino, as well as a random appearance by Terry freaking Crews, man. Who is he playing? I was like, what? Like, that was completely random, dude.
Yeah.
And two other people behind them. And I'm going to talk about one of those guys in a second, but feel free to comment, man.
Terry Crews, no idea who that's supposed to be.
That's so random, dude.
I don't...
Terry Crews.
And that's... See, now this kid's supposed to be Cannonball? Like, that's Sam Guthrie Cannonball?
In the prison jumpsuit?
Yeah, the little kid
sticking up the middle fingers?
Yeah.
I think that is supposed to be Cannonball.
Oh, okay.
I think that is the intention. I think that he's supposed to be Cannonball.
No, I mean...
If I'm not mistaken.
I have a question. and I don't know if anyone's seen this movie, but that kid to me, okay. There's a movie made by the director of Thor Ragnarok. It was his previous movie to Thor Ragnarok, where it starred like a kid from New Zealand. I don't know if that's the same kid. I don't know if anyone's seen the movie. Probably not. Maybe they could comment and let me know. If not, I'll probably look it up when I get the chance. But I had no idea that was Cannibal. I mean, obviously, it doesn't look
I think that's supposed to be Cannibal. Don't quote me on that, all right? Don't.
Is that just rumors, or that's what people are saying?
I heard scuttlebutt, and I don't know if it's confirmed or not. And from what I understand, that's scuttlebutt. I don't know. I'm not sure that's true. That's what I'm saying. I think it might be Cannibal. I don't know.
Yeah, we're being told DMC stands for Department of Mutant Control.
There you go. I mean, that's a good guess. It's possible that's what it is. But if you want to pull back up that picture,
Hunt for the Wilder People. There you go. Thank you.
Say it again.
Hunt for the Wilder People. Dr. Strangelove, help me out there. It looks like it's the same kid who's the actor. He's a good actor. So again, that's another thing that I got to compliment this movie. It appears that they're getting all the right people for these roles. Everyone that I've seen in this trailer, I mean, they got charisma just oozing through their pores, and they make, not only is it shot well, like it looks cool, but everybody looks cool doing what they're doing.
Yeah. But there's another member. Why this is sort of why I might be leaning a little bit more towards the Proto X-Force idea. I mean, obviously Domino, is going to be joining Deadpool and the X-Force group. But if you want to throw back up that picture with the group coming out, there's actually an X-Force member I want to point out. The dude that's standing to the right of Domino. Okay, he's sort of got like a yellow mask, and he looks a little bit like he's got like a fever or something. I don't know what's going on with him. Yeah. But I think people are speculating that is it's sort of an obscure X-Force member called Zeitgeist. So dude has like acid spitting. He has like acid vomiting powers or something along those lines. So like his vomit is like acid, basically. That sort of goes in. I mean, in the comics, he sort of has this yellow and white outfit. You could see a little bit of yellow there. I'm not sure if you could see anything else, but he certainly has a yellow mask covering his mouth, just like the character from the comics. Yeah. And like, I mean, come on, guys, a character that spits freaking acid vomit, like that's like right for a Deadpool joke. Like, you don't even have to work. So I think that might be who he is. But I think this is a Proto X-Force or teasing X-Force in some sort of way. And
this other character that's between Deadpool and Terry Crews's character.
I have no idea who that is.
Do you think that's Maverick, aka Agent X?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm looking at it on my iPad.
From a video.
I'm not sure, man.
This is coming from a video that we did a while back talking about the Gifted character. We did like a top 10 of characters we'd like to see. And Maverick, aka Agent X, was one of our choices. And it seems, I don't know, his headgear kind of is similar to what Maverick has. And I can't really tell the color. Usually Maverick has like yellowish gear on, but it's tough to really tell. Oh, they're saying maybe Terry Crews is Maverick. All right.
Yeah, maybe.
Tough to tell.
Maybe. I don't know. Jason Todd wants to know if the X-Force movie is actually going to happen. Here's the thing, and I said this in a previous video. Fox is going to operate as if a buyout or the selling of their assets like isn't going to happen anytime soon. So and not only that, they have financial obligations to meet for their shareholders. So they have to still continue to develop the movies that they originally planned, because let's be honest, if this deal doesn't go through, or let's say, for example, somebody like Comcast, who's been rumored to want to challenge for a counteroffer, makes a counteroffer, it could create a situation where Fox is still in hold of these characters and everything is still being deliberated. So is a X-Force movie still going to happen? Maybe. I will say this. Fox is going to do everything in their power to continue as if they are developing all the movies they plan to develop. So I'm not sure X-Force has a release date, but they're going to continue to develop that movie the way they need to. Like we said in the previous video, we sort of speculated immediately after, the Marvel and Fox deal. I said the Mox deal. You like how I just do that together? It was like Bennifer's, like like when Ben Affleck and Jennifer, what's her name?
Lopez.
Garner were together. But yeah, so they're gonna operate as if their company isn't getting bought out, essentially, because if the deal does fall through, they're gonna have no movies on the table. They just stop. So will it come out? It all depends on time, how long the deal takes, if the deal gets approved, if the deal doesn't go through. All of that is gonna factor in. But DeepBoyce, man, how about we move on from all that Deadpool conversation?
Yeah.
Let's slide on over to another Marvel property, particularly on Netflix, and that is Jessica Jones Season 2. Getting a trailer today as well. Dude, it's a lot. There's a lot of stuff coming out. It's a beautiful time to be a fan. And Jessica Jones, man, it seems like they're going to go into the origins of her powers. Mm-hmm. It seems like they're going to be exploring where her powers came from. They touched on it briefly, maybe in season 1, but like it was barely touched on at all. But this idea is that maybe Jessica is part of some sort of larger experiment. Now, personally, I'm not even sure what her origins were in the comics in that respect.
Yeah.
Because in the comics, I mean, there's been things like she was going to school with like Peter Parker in the comics. Like, there's so many different iterations and variations and storylines for these characters. But Jessica Jones out here basically trying to get to the bottom of her origins, and it could be dangerous, man.
Yeah. Again, in similar fashion to the Deadpool 2 trailer, I guess this kind of came out of nowhere. I wasn't really expecting the Jessica Jones Season 2 trailer to drop, but it did, and I thought it was well done. And like you said, they're kind of tackling a new aspect of her character with, of course, bringing in a few older things, particularly from Season 1, things about her, I guess, her PTSD, pretty much, and her crippling depression.
Yeah, which I thought was well done.
Yeah, and kind of taking like you said, a different angle on what's eating Jessica Jones this time. It was more pressing, or the issue was more the Purple Man in Season 1. In this, it seems to be, hey, how'd you get these powers? Do you care to know about these powers? It seems like you have no choice at this point, because it seems like she's involved in something much larger than whatever it is, her much larger than her just general aloof nature and just not caring and just drinking up a storm day in and day out. So
yeah,
it'll be interesting, because they definitely, like I said, I think they did a good job setting up what the pieces are going to be for this upcoming season.
Yeah. CV2198 had a great question. Mm-hmm. And he said he wonders if Jessica Jones, sort of being created in a lab is going to be a little bit too derivative, considering Luke Cage's origins. I mean, what do you think about that? I mean, I think that Luke Cage definitely had sort of that origin as well. Mm-hmm. But with Jessica Jones, I think they're painting this idea that Luke Cage was sort of one of a kind, although at the end of the season, spoilers, it got teased that like Diamondback sort of went through the same procedure. But with Jessica Jones, they're teasing that she's one of a different, like of a multiple experiments. Like, she is not the only person who has been experimented on. They also said in the trailer that she died and came back due to the experiment, and her coming back was a side effect of that. So it is a little bit different in that respect, and it could open up the idea of other, I guess, metahumans running around. You know what I mean? And potentially serving as adversaries to Jessica Jones.
I mean, my answer to that, and I mean this with all due respect, is what else are you gonna say? Like, what else are you gonna write? I mean,
true.
How many characters? Like, I can't. It's very hard to create a origin story that doesn't involve a dead family member, a science experiment gone wrong, a mutation. I mean, go on. The list goes on and on. And there are some similarities there. But it seems like, in terms of what they're doing on Netflix, it seems like they may dedicate an entire season to this, as opposed to a few flashbacks like in Luke Cage, and what I consider to be maybe the turning point in that first season of Luke Cage, where it started to kind of go downhill, where they really took time to look into his backstory and what actually happened to him in the prison, and it wasn't the most interesting thing. And I think with what we're seeing, or just hypothesizing, what we're seeing out of this Jessica Jones season 2 trailer is that it's more than just she's in this situation and it's like, well, they're gonna experiment on her. It seems like it may even have some parallels to the Purple Man, where it was his family that had kind of experimented on the Purple Man. His family was kind of responsible for the powers that they gave him and created that monster. To me, they're alluding to the fact that her family, herself, and these other people, and now these recent events are all tied to whatever it is that happened to her, in this facility where they experimented on her. Again, we won't know until it comes out, but I bet that they're gonna maybe take a more nuanced approach, and yes, from the outside looking in, it's your regular old superhero type of story, secret experiment, chemicals, whatever the heck. But I think within the context of this Netflix series, it's gonna go hand in hand with the characterization of Jessica Jones, and kind of really tying it in to why she is the way that she is, and will she get over her problems because she can't escape her past, and she's been trying to do that by drinking herself a numb for quite some time now, and now she's faced with the origins of the problem. Kilgrave, Purple Man, was one big trial. One of her, if not her defining moment, but it's not the only thing. Which I think, in a way, is different than what you see out of most superhero, stories, or when they kind of look back into the origin story or the background or the thing that caused a superhero to be a superhero. They just state it as is, and that's the motivating factor, or that's just a freak occurrence. But it seems like in this one, they're going to really take a moment to say, well, we're going to show you how not only this affected this character, why she is the way that she is, but she is not going to get through this season without confronting this. Kind of like, I guess, the Batman problem, where Batman never gets over the fact his parents died, because he never tries to confront that. He never tries to sit down and really deal with it. But again,
I don't think he wants.
He doesn't want to. He doesn't want.
Wants to feel that.
Yeah, it's what drives him. But maybe, and this is again just huge speculation because I don't know, I haven't seen it. But maybe they're gonna really try and move this character forward and have her really kind of wrestle with that background, that traumatic experience or whatever it is that happened. But who knows? We'll see.
Yeah. I think that was well said, man. I think that was well said. I think the important thing about, because let's be honest, like, Jessica's dealing with mental illness. Like, that's what it comes down to. PTSD, maybe even depression. That is a mental illness. And quite frankly, they don't go away. It's not like, like, yes, you can have your moments where, you feel great and you don't necessarily feel that it's hampering your life. But it's not something that's like, okay, I killed a Purple Man. Goodbye, depression and PTSD. If anything, it may even be more, maybe be exaggerated.
Yeah. I mean, that's something that you saw at the end of season 1. You kind of saw in Defenders. And obviously you're still seeing in this second trailer, because, I mean, that's true. I mean, honestly, even like if you go through a difficult time in your life, there are times where once it's over, it's still not over within you, if that makes any sense. Like you'll feel spent, and you'll feel even worse, or not even worse, but you still feel bad because you're thinking to yourself, it's over, but why do I still feel bad?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Sometimes even a fear that what you went through could happen again. Yeah. Sometimes that leads to paranoia, things like that.
Or it mobilizes you and you don't want to act, or you don't want to move forward in life. And I don't know what the general consensus was on Jessica Jones. Personally, I actually kind of liked it. I was kind of surprised by how much I did like it. And one of the things is, while there were some fight scenes, yes, I think at the end of the day, she solved their problems by not punching things. She did punch some things, obviously. That's fine. I mean, you got to see what you got to see. But I think the big steps forward she made as a character were more kind of like making adult decisions in an odd way.
Sure.
So,
speaking of adult decisions, man.
yes,
you're a big fan of this character, and I wanted to talk to you about it because it's teased in the trailer. Okay, so Trish, aka Hellcat in the comics.
Oh, Patsy Walker.
I believe it's Trish Walker, if I'm not mistaken.
Patsy Walker, Hellcat.
Yes. Yeah. So she, in the trailer, you hear her say something along the lines of, Jessica may not want a sidekick, but she needs one. In another scene where she's kicking somebody's ass.
Yeah.
And do you think we're gonna see the emergence of Hellcat? Like a lot of people didn't think that was gonna happen. Like when season 1 came out, like I remember people were talking about it. And they're like, Hellcat's a little bit, over the top in terms of like her outfit and things like that. But that hasn't stopped Marvel before in terms of adapting characters. So do you think we're gonna see like Hellcat come to fruition, or at least maybe Hellcat season 0 in a sense, with Trish?
Well,
I know you like the Hellcat character, so I had to ask you that, man.
She's had some decent comics. I mean, comics that they don't sell well because obviously people don't.
Hellcat.
People are not gonna check out Hellcat.
It's not exactly a household name,
They're generally good comics and something different. I don't know about it. I guess season 0 in a sense.
Scissor.
Season
I like
scissor. But
it's like a Lil Wayne Netflix spinoff series. Season scissor.
But I think like we'll see her more in action. Obviously, you see her in action in this trailer, but I don't know if we're going to see her suited up in any way, shape, or form. Sure. And I don't think it would be a good idea if they try to give her a Netflix series. That's going to be a big question mark.
No.
What is this? But
they got too much on the plate as is.
But I did think Patsy Walker was well done in the first one, where she usually serves as that cosmopolitan friend to some of her I guess New York superhero friends, where she like it's a good juxtaposition between what the character usually is in the comics to what Jessica Jones kind of now is, who's kind of grumpy and just miserable and depressed, PTSD. Patsy Walker's like, Patsy Walker's like, I got a penthouse apartment on Central Park West. I go out on, I go to brunch on the regular with, high class celebrities and all that kind of stuff. So I guess it'll be interesting to see Patsy Walker and Jessica Jones kind of have that interaction where it's like Patsy Walker will be that friend where she's like, come on, we got to go out. Or you got to get dolled up a little bit. You got to go on some dates. You got to build your life back up. And then obviously she's going to do her thing where she's going to insert herself into the crime fighting as well. Because she kind of did, you saw her throw a few punches in that first season.
Yeah, she wasn't playing games, man. She wasn't playing games.
But she was more of a damsel in distress. And I think, again, what's important is seeing that character growth from that character in particular, which I think, it's always nice to kind of get some of those D-list characters to kind of sprinkle them on there and actually use them well. Like Claire Temple, for example, Night Nurse. She's like one of the best Marvel Netflix characters.
Well, they ain't really... The Night Nurse thing is complicated. Because they haven't really straight up called her Night Nurse. And although they're using her like Night Nurse, the character whose alter ego is Night Nurse is actually in Doctor Strange. Like, that's Doctor Strange's love interest.
Oh, true.
So it's a little bit complicated as to whether or not she is Night Nurse. They're definitely using her as if she's Night Nurse. But I just wanted to make that clear because I know some people are like Night Nurse.
No, true.
But yeah, Matt V had an interesting thing in response to me saying, like, Hellcat. I intimated that I wouldn't want to see a Hellcat series. He said Daredevil gave us a Punisher, so why not bring out Hellcat, bring out more heroes? We're gonna have this conversation on another day. But me and DeepBoyce, especially at the beginning of this year, looking at the end of 2017, more is not necessarily better if the quality isn't there. And I'm not saying that Netflix has a quality control issue. That's not true at all. Punisher was good. However, Punisher sort of exemplified a little bit of the issues that the Netflix formula has. In particular, they're a failure to really create compelling side stories with some of their characters. Mm-hmm. Like the Agent Madani. Thank you. Mm-hmm. Agent Madani like storyline. You could just throw it out the window. Like the only thing that I guess made her somewhat, necessary to the story was her interaction with Billy. Billy, I'm blanking on his name at the moment. But Jigsaw in the comics.
Yeah.
I wasn't too interested in her storyline. I liked the character. Like I liked the idea of the character, like what they were trying, like her personality. But I felt like they ultimately wasted her. Like, and even the storyline with Lewis, I understand that was supposed to sort of go, Billy Russo. Thank you for those in the chat. But I get that the story with Lewis, was supposed to sort of exemplify the extreme reaction that a veteran might have. But, once again, they did a good job of showing the issues that veterans had just by having those meetings, as opposed to having Lewis sort of go to this like extreme point. So less is not necessarily bad, if you get what I'm saying. Also, Defenders underwhelmed. Defenders was okay, but it was by no means mind-blowing. Like, I don't think Defenders, in my opinion, like the Defenders was not better than any of the individual seasons of Netflix shows, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, and to kind of follow up on that, the thing about the Defenders that's key is that they had a shortened season or shorter season compared to the other individual shows, especially Punisher. And in most of those shows, I personally felt, and I think Hazy also agrees, that they could have shaved off a few of those episodes. Now, they haven't really done this, and I guess when they tried to do it, like in the examples you gave, it didn't quite work out. But if you're going to have, like it's an hour, you're talking about 12 hours, you can maybe rework it in a way.
Isn't it 13 hours? It's 13 episodes.
13
right?
episodes. 13 hours. That's a lot.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. You can maybe rework the story in a way where you could integrate some of these minor characters, make them more integral to the story, give them more time, but in a way that benefits the story, doesn't take away from it.
Which is why I sort of feel like Hellcat can hang out on Jessica Jones for a while until the character earns a Netflix series. And I don't want to make it seem like, I don't want to say, like, I feel like that could be taken out of context, like the idea like she doesn't deserve one. Mm-hmm. But you want to make sure the character is given a fair shake. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people were clamoring for, like, when they saw Simone Missick as Misty Knight. Misty Knight, and then, Jessica Henwick as, why am I blanking on all these names?
Colleen Wing?
Colleen Wing.
Yeah. Sisters.
Everybody.
Was it the...
Right. Daughters of the Dragon.
Daughters of the Dragon, yeah.
Everybody's like, oh, that should be the next series. That should be the next series. I'm like, these characters still need to come into their own a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like, give them a chance to sort of become a little bit more full-fledged so that you get to the point where you look at them, you're like, all right, they're in this show, but they need more. And I'm down for a Hellcat series. I'm down. Like, I'll be the first to tell you, I'm going to watch all this stuff when it drops. Mm-hmm. But I hesitate because I don't want these characters to sink. I don't want them to flounder. And Punisher, some people were saying, Punisher's more well-known. He's more interesting. That, to me, isn't the reasoning for why a Punisher series was good or necessary. It is simply because John Bernthal in Daredevil Season 2 was phenomenal. Yeah. And the character setup very much gave me the feel of this is Punisher Season 0. Punisher had not gotten a series at that point yet, at that juncture yet. But I felt like I watched it and I said, this guy, I would love to see him in his own story. And I don't feel that about Colleen Wing or Misty Knight just yet. And Hellcat, she hasn't even, like, Trish hasn't even done anything to progress her towards, like, the Hellcat. Like, Punisher was very much in the Punisher mindset, in Daredevil Season 2. So these characters, I think, have a long way to go before they can, not a long way, but they have somewhere to go before we can reasonably spin them out. That's all I'm saying. Even if it's an 8-episode series or something along those lines. Yeah. I personally feel that they're doing fine where they're at right now.
Yeah, I think it's a matter of structure.
Right.
When I think of like Iron Fist and even Luke Cage, I think they maybe should have just had one season where it's Heroes for Hire.
Perfect example. Perfect example. Because Iron Fist 2 was largely unnecessary. The whole plot line with the Meacham family.
Yeah.
Put that in the garbage, man. Sweep that under the carpet. Put it in the closet. Lock it up. Put some duct tape over the closet. That whole Meacham storyline was whack. Whack. That I will accept no other answers but that. That was whack.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I don't know. It's difficult to really say what it is because, I mean, I think we just kind of talked about it in private, but it's the episode length, the story. It should fit the story structure.
Yeah. They
shouldn't just say 13 episodes. That's the standard because some stories for some of these characters could be a lot shorter. They could be 6 episodes. Yeah. They could be maybe be more. They could, I don't know, whatever the combination may be. Maybe 10. 10 kind of makes sense. But while the Hellcat character, maybe she might be the breakout character of the season 2, let's say as an example, that doesn't necessarily mean that she should get her own show, because that might ruin the character. That might ruin the way we feel about the character. Maybe it'll be overexposure for Patsy Walker or her name in the show is Trish.
I think it's Trish. Yeah.
Trish. Yeah.
Patsy. I think Patsy's sort of like the comic book nickname.
Yeah.
Because her name is Patricia.
Yeah.
Patricia Walker.
True.
So Patsy's sort of like, one of those old school comic booky names, nickname. Patricia, but she's going with Trish because she's a grown up in the 21st century.
And also, selfless plug. We did a video where we talked about heroes that we feel should get their own Netflix series. If you want to really hear our thoughts on any additional Netflix shows, who we think they should be centered around. So you guys should definitely check that out. You can search it. We're going to try that on the video with the magic gift of the internet. So
yeah, I'll try to put that in the description for the video for those of you guys watching this as a video, not as a live stream. But yeah, I mean, to sort of put the finishing touches on that point, like Patsy, now I'm saying Patsy. Trish Walker's character is also very necessary to the character of Jessica Jones. Like, her character is how Jessica Jones is staying afloat right now, and they need each other. They depend on each other. I'm not saying that Patsy Walker, Trish Walker can't have her own life in her own series, but I think she's fine where she is right now. Fine where she is right now. If the Netflix series is the universe is going to expand, like I'd rather see like other characters like Moon Knight, or somebody else.
Wesley Snipes as Blade.
No, not Wesley Snipes as Blade.
Hazy wants to see Wesley Snipes as Blade yet again.
Do you really want to go off on this tangent, man?
The number one.
You really want to go off on this tangent?
Number one. Wesley Snipes fan right there, HazyRome.
Listen, guys.
Wants him to reprise one of the OG Marvel movies. If you ask Wesley Snipes himself, he'll say he started it all.
You finished, man? You finished? You done? You done over here with your bull? With your tomfoolery? You done? You finished? Okay. Here's my thing against Wesley Snipes as Blade. It's not that I didn't enjoy Wesley Snipes as Blade. My opinion is just give somebody else a chance. Like, you had your day in the sun, fam. Let somebody else get a shot. It's over, man. Like, I know he's like conversations with Marvel, but I'm like, give somebody else a chance. You had your chance. You had 3 movies. To be honest with you, the Blade trilogy is not that great, guys. I'm sorry. I hate to say it. Like, he's a very good Blade, but they're not that great. This is not like a Hugh Jackman Wolverine situation, people. I'm sorry. Give somebody else a chance, man.
I like Blade 1. It was what it was back in the 90s. Blade 2 was, entertaining.
Once again, DeepBoyce, the trilogy was not that good. Okay, don't give me that. It was not that great. It's only nostalgia that makes us want Wesley Snipes. That's it.
Makes you want Wesley Snipes back as Blade.
No, makes your ass want Wesley Snipes. I don't think I want new blood, bro. New blood. This guy's supposed to be a vampire, okay, who's somewhat immortal, even though he's half human. I'm sorry. Get a young dude. Let him have a chance.
What about Denzel?
No, no, a young dude. Let the young dude get a chance. Let a younger black brother get a chance to play. Please. Damn, man. Anyway, one last thing with Jessica Jones I want to hit on before we move on to Infinity War. Real quick, do you think the Purple Man is back? Do you think he's alive? Because the trailer definitely wants you to think that there's a chance he could be alive by putting forth the notion immediately, oh, like, Jessica Jones died and she came back and that's how she got her powers. You know what I'm saying? Is the Purple Man back, or is this part of that mental illness we were talking about with Jessica Jones, the PTSD, maybe a little bit of hallucinations that are going on? What do you think about the Purple Man? Is he back, or is he just sort of like, I think Radioactive Gecko made this fantastic analogy for the gamers out there. I'm a gamer. DeepBoyce is a gamer.
Yep.
Arkham Knight, the Joker in Batman Arkham Knight. Spoilers to anyone who hasn't played that series. But the Joker died in Arkham Asylum. However, he was very much a character in Batman Arkham Knight by essentially haunting Batman and being a figment of Batman's imagination. I actually think it came down to Batman being infected in something that was like basically made him see those Joker hallucinations because it was in his blood. But basically, he wasn't real. Joker wasn't real. Is this the same thing that's happening with Purple Man? Is he a figment of Jessica Jones's imagination, or maybe a side effect of something, you know, going on with her?
We'll make a bold prediction here. Low chance of this happening. I think it's going to be a double fake. They're presenting it as a hallucination, and there's a very good chance that it is a hallucination, that it's her having PTSD issues. But my bold prediction is that the Purple Man is in fact alive and will be back in some way, shape, or form, physically back.
So you're not saying that he's alive. You're not saying
he is alive.
He didn't die. You're saying he did die, but he's gonna come back.
Okay, that's an interesting twist.
Is that what you're saying, or you're saying that he never died when she killed him?
You know, since they made a point to mention you died, or that Jessica Jones died. Yes. I think maybe that'll be what's going on.
So you think he died in season 1, and they brought him back?
It could be he died, they brought him back, or that there's something that allows him to bring people back, and they bring him back, and suddenly he's like, you know, season 3 villain. But he'll be in season 2 to some capacity in her like visions or in her head as well. Because
that would be an interesting pattern for that series, given that Kingpin is coming back for Daredevil season 3.
I'm just saying, Purple Man, I mean, this is just based off the comics. He has died on various occasions, and he just, I don't know, because of the spores or whatever his powers are. Yeah, there's just something weird going on there. They've never fully explained it, even in the comics.
True. That, you know, and to be fair, we never got to see Purple Man with like full on purple skin. I think when he got like an injection or something during like the course of season 1, it sort of like teased that. Yeah. We never got to see like full on purple dude. Yeah, Purple Man. That makes sense.
True.
So maybe that is possible, man. Anything else you want to say about Jessica Jones before we move on to that Infinity War Super Bowl teaser trailer? I guess we call it teaser trailer. It was only like 30 seconds.
Yes, I have another prediction. And I'm not really basing this. I mean, this is just from a little bit of research that I did as to.
I like how you announce your predictions. I have another prediction. I have a royal decree from the spoilers from King Boy.
I'm cutting promos. Like, this is my Monday Night Raw promo right here. But in the trailer, there's a serial killer out there, but that person, whether it's a woman or man, is. They seem to have superpowers of some sort. They seem to, because the few shots we've seen of dead people, they've been really messed up. In particular, there's one, I guess, construction worker or something, or someone that was like impaled. There's a whole bunch of rubble and they were impaled, and I think they're alluding to the fact that this superpowered serial killer, which I think that's a pretty good choice for a Jessica Jones show right there. They're not only are they tied to Jessica Jones' past, but they may be as strong or as powerful as her. And this is just my bold prediction as to who this may or may not be. But I actually believe it may be the character Count Nefario. Again, people may not know who that character is. I don't know that character that well. And that character hasn't showed up in anything recently. But kind of may fit the description of someone who is tied to the Avengers, who is tied to Jessica Jones, who is super strong. I mean, obviously, they'll nerf him because that's what they do in Marvel. But I think, again, they're going to take that opportunity to kind of throw in like a C/D list character into the season. Because they had Nuke. They had Nuke in season 1. And I didn't really expect... I mean, I was like, all right.
Yeah, that was a nice touch. I thought it was well done.
Yeah.
And he's still out there. He's still alive. So he could very well be back. Well, why do you think Count Nefario, just out of curiosity? Is there anything that like, you know, cued you into that? Or are you just making a random prediction based on a C-level, D-level character who could possibly pop in? Like, I'm curious.
It's just mostly a random prediction because I can't see anybody else who they could kind of throw in there. I mean, I'm just trying, I guess, my best to kind of deduce based off of who they've encountered, the Avengers in particular. But Jessica Jones was part of the Avengers during that period of time. His name's Lucchino Nefaria. Nefaria. So maybe they do like a little name switcheroo or something like they did with Patsy Walker or a lot of these other characters. And maybe, again, maybe he was the last experiment that they did in whatever it is they were doing when they gave.
Maybe he's the last Jedi. Who knows?
Maybe he's the last Jedi because, and correct me if I'm wrong, but did they imply that? I think you mentioned that there were multiple people that were experimented on.
Yeah, they implied that she was part of a research project.
And
like including multiple people,
and she's like searching for them, or they're being killed, or was that what was going on in that trailer? Is that what they implied?
She's trying to get to the bottom, I think, of the experiment of what happened to her, and that is naturally going to open up issues or ideas about other people who had been experimented on, and naturally she got the warning that many comic book characters don't follow, which is stay away from this. This is not going to be. It's not going to end well.
Oh, no. She's got to get to the bottom of it. And there's some other guy trying to buy up her private eye firm or whatever's left of it.
Yeah, I mean, we ain't gonna watch the show if she doesn't actually get to the bottom of it. I mean, she has to get to the bottom of it. But yeah, there's some other dude who's trying to buy up her company. You know, I wasn't gonna acknowledge this, but why the hell not? Since we're doing this podcast style and we're sort of just waxing poetic, but. You know, she says in response to him saying, you know, him offering to buy Alias Investigations, and he says, I don't take no for an answer. She goes, well, that's very rapey of you. So I saw some people commenting in the chat, and I want to just air some thoughts just really quick because I really want to move into Avengers about that. Like, she's not making a joke about rape. She's more... You know, Jessica's hard nosed and hard edge, and she sort of pushes the boundaries on things like that. And you know, the idea that it's getting too SJWE is a little bit silly because this character, you know, like what does that even mean in the context of like storytelling for characters like Jessica Jones who, you know, try to be strong, independent, who wants to be and is trying to be. And struggles to be just because of what she's gone through, an independent woman who, you know, is able to sort of fend for herself in a sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's where the joke comes from, where this guy is like being aggressive and she's just like back off. So she says something that's possibly the most offensive to somebody because even his face is just kind of like, oh, well, that was out of left field. But that's just, I feel like that's sort of in character with Jessica Jones, and like. It's touchy to make a comment like that, I think, but that's Jessica Jones. She makes you feel uncomfortable. Like, I think that's how she is. So, I don't...
Yeah, I mean...
I feel that I feel like that's more of a sensitivity that other people have in terms of, like, talking about, you know, things like feminism, talking about things like equality, talking about things like, women's rights and treating women as they deserve to be treated. And this whole idea, and this is a larger commentary on socio-political culture. If we were more willing to have these type of dialogues, I don't think these things would have turned into the issues they are today. But because people immediately like, I don't want to hear that, or this is my escape. That's another thing I hear about comic book properties often, which is like, this is my escape from reality. I don't want to address these issues. Comic books have always addressed real world issues. Case closed. Facts. Just because they involve crazy dimensions and superpowers does not mean that they have not incorporated socio-political, cultural facts, social-political, cultural, current events. Always. And I know some people don't like to hear that, and that's okay, because it should make you uncomfortable, because that's something that means that there's something to learn here. That's something to benefit off here. And I think that you may not want to feel like you're learning something while you're watching one of these shows, but I don't know about you, but when I was in school, I loved watching movies in class and learning stuff. Because I'm like, yo, at least it's not taking notes. I'm like, I welcome this type of thing, because this is something that's easily consumable for me. I'm not doing anything. Just sitting down and watching the show. Mm-hmm. So if I can learn something from it, if I can pick something up from it, if I can have a dialogue that makes me uncomfortable so that maybe I can make someone else feel more comfortable in their situation, maybe it's worth the time of day. My opinion is a little bit biased. I'm an African-American dude, as you could tell. And, equality is a problem. Equality is an issue. Equality is something that my people personally struggle with. And there's a lot of people out there there's definitely women that listen to us. Boyce is a person of color as well. And there's a lot of times when we talk about these things, we sort of leave out white people, but there's a lot of white people who want to have these conversations. They want to learn. They want to push this forward. So I think that the whole notion of F men, or some people feeling offensive, like they're saying, oh, F men. Let's be honest, there's a lot of shows and there's been a lot of things that have said sort of like F women, right? F bitches is the word that you hear often. It's not good. It's not okay. It's not nice. And I think that when we push the boundaries of this stuff, we can only grow. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'll say about it. Hopefully you guys, hear me out on that. And I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I guess in response to that, I don't know what that means necessarily. It's to SJWE or something like that. I don't.
Yeah, I saw that question
I think
a couple times, and I want to acknowledge it.
I just think that's making coming to a big conclusion out of something rather small in a very short trailer, kind of taking it out of context.
Right.
The question, or rather the statement, if people are saying that, doesn't entirely make sense, because the initial premise to me isn't clear. What does it mean to be SJWE or SJW qualities and whatever? I don't. I'm gonna need a clear definition as to what that is. And I don't know. Nothing seemed out of line for me, given what I've seen out of the character. It seems like something she would totally say. It's been a while since I've seen season 1, but I'm sure there are a couple of things you can just kind of pick out and make the same statement about. It's like, oh, it's a little too rough on the edges, and it's an agenda and this and that. It's like, me personally, it's just like, people need to relax a bit. Just take it easy. Take it easy. It's not. This guy is clearly supposed to be a bad guy, or he's antagonistic.
Yeah.
And just, even if you do take it out of context, I still feel the statement I think it makes sense. I think it's the response that she had to me makes sense. It doesn't seem like they just put it out of nowhere just to try and make a statement that's relevant to the times, even though it may be relevant to the times. But I thought it was, it wasn't abrasive. It didn't just like pop out, and it wasn't like, ooh, that shouldn't have been there. So,
yeah. I mean, keep an open mind about those things. That's that. I've always sort of challenged you guys about to do that. Mm-hmm. Don't get me wrong. There are things that I draw a line on, I don't want to make it seem like I don't draw a line on some things. And I'm not going to talk too much about it, but I'll tell you right now, like that idea of Confederate being produced by like the makers of Game of Thrones, the directors or whatever, the writers or whatever, not about that. For obvious reasons. For obvious reasons, white guys telling a story that, sort of I'm not down with, like that's just not cool. But I understand when you feel uncomfortable with something. I totally get that. But if there's one thing I want to say about Spectacular Spoiler League, we don't necessarily make our videos about that, but we hope through how we talk and the way we carry ourselves that, you guys can keep open mind and we can learn together. We can open our mind together. You know what I'm saying? But on to Infinity War, man. Super Bowl TV spot for Infinity War, 30 seconds. May couldn't get here any sooner. DeepBoyce.
Yeah, but I mean, talk about the best month of the year. Not just because it's your boy's birthday, but because it's May.
Woo! May 21st is DeepBoyce's birthday. Yes, I put it out there, DeepBoyce.
May is the best month of the year. There are no arguments. No one can say anything otherwise. It's the best month. It's just the best month. In the best place of the just very nice and nestled. 5th month of the year. Yep. Nice weather. It's phenomenal. Yep. And we're getting Deadpool and we're getting Avengers Infinity War. It's beautiful. Yeah. It's beautiful. And I was born in that month.
Hate winter.
28 years ago, I was born in that month. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with Avengers Infinity War, but I just wanted to put that out there.
In that Avengers Infinity War sort of money shot, I keep calling that the money shot because that's the shot. We've got everybody gathered together. They're running in Wakanda, chasing George of the Jungle or something. But the one thing that, sort of put into context in this trailer is a scene where Captain America essentially gets the shield or we see him first unveil the shield, the Wakandan vibranium shield that he has. And in that money shot, we actually see him. Like, I remember when we first saw this trailer, we were like, are those like hand shields or those gauntlets? Like, what are those? Like, we can now, I think, definitively say that those are 10 shields. 10 shields. What am I talking about? 2 shields. You know what it was? Someone, Isaiah Adams, said 10 years finally, referring to Infinity War. And I said 10 in my head when I meant to say 2. So that they're obviously a shield on each hand, one of those shields on each hand. So when you see him running with those gauntlets, he's wielding 2 of those shields. So I know a lot of people say, those shields are anorexic, they're skinny. People were going over the top with their comments about the damn shield. He's got 2 of them, all right? So he can put his palms together, he can block stuff. In this sense, it gives him a little bit more mobility. So, yeah, that was pretty cool. Also, another takeaway that I found, a little minor takeaway. There's a shot with Spider-Man. I think we have a screenshot of that with Spider-Man crawling up the sort of huge ring structure that we weren't quite sure what it was in the analysis, and I think we're still a little bit unsure of what it is, right?
Yeah,
that ring structure that appears in New York City. But there's a shot in the Super Bowl.
I've heard people mention that it's like a spaceship of some sort. Yeah.
And I'll tell you right now, this shot with Tom Holland climbing up said thing, I think that confirms that it definitely has some space flight capabilities. Because when we first see the trailer, when we see the first trailer, we see that ring. It's relatively it's up in the sky, but it's relatively close to the ground in a sense. You know what I'm saying? Like not to the ground, but to like the skyline. It doesn't seem too high up.
Yeah.
But in this trailer, okay, or in this image, right? If you could just shift the image over a little bit, you could see the layout of the ground below Spider-Man. First of all, he's mad high up. Like he's not seeing no buildings. He's out here seeing like the like land masses, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And that is very clearly the landmass of the city of New York.
Yeah. It's Manhattan right there in the middle. You can see it.
Yes. If you take the subway, the New York City subway, us from New York, we recognize the island of Manhattan very clearly. That sort of like phallic-like structure in the middle of the picture, that little strip, that is Manhattan. So
I'd like to say it's more of a chicken tender. Chicken tender shape.
Yeah, so Spotty has definitely jumped onto the thing, and it seems to be ascending somewhere. It seems to be ascending. So I just wanted to point that out. I thought that was a little bit interesting.
Indeed.
But one final thing I wanted to point out,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll turn it over to you, DeepBoyce, and your thoughts and all that other stuff is another shot featuring Captain America, Vision, and blonde Black Widow. Yo, Scarlett Johansson is a blonde. Beautiful, okay, beautiful. I still like redhead ScarJo a little bit better, but so we see the important thing I want to point out is Vision here, and why is Vision important in this shot? That is because
he's got the mud butt.
My man's holding his stomach. He's like, oh.
He ate too many shepherd's pie.
He's got that. His rectum is being ravaged right now. He's got something going on down there. He got a bit of a. He's nervous about Thanos. He's got a bit of a tummy ache.
He ate some New York street food. He's like, oh.
He's eating some halal food, man. Got to him. But the thing about Vision here, if you notice, is he is without his mind gem. He's without the Mind Stone. Now, in the original trailer, there's a shot of him sort of getting his mind gem picked out of his head. I think
his
by
ass whooped.
he was getting his ass, like he was getting on. And I think we speculated that it was Corvus Glaive that was probably prying it from his forehead. So a lot of people speculate like Vision dead. So this is him without the mind gem. And unless he's hiding it in the middle of his forehead somehow or something like that, I'm pretty sure this is afterwards. And also the fact that he's holding his stomach, it may seem that he got his ass beat pretty hard. And, you know, if you remember, they're actually stepping on his chest or something like that, or in his stomach region, trying to pry out the gem. So Vision has been through some struggle. So he survived that encounter is what I'm trying to say. Now, that to me is interesting because a lot of people are like, Vision's dead. That's it. Mind gem gone. It's over. But this is clearly him without the mind gem. So it answered the question that we had, which is, can he survive without the mind gem? And the answer seems to be yes.
Yeah, he probably isn't as powerful as he used to be, but
yes,
it seems he survived. He survived.
Yes.
And I guess another important thing to kind of note of this image is there are 4 people here. I mean, I think you mentioned it was Scarlet Witch, correct? Is that what you said?
You know, no, I was talking about Black Widow. Did I say Scarlet Witch by accident before? I meant Black Widow.
Well, I don't know. I'm not entirely sure. If you name 4 people or 3, but
there are definitely 4 people there.
Yeah.
But I left that 4th person out on purpose because I know what you're gonna allude to right now.
Yes.
So, the rumors, right?
Yes.
People saying that's Captain Marvel.
Yes.
I don't think that's Captain.
That is not Captain Marvel. Well, I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure it is not. I mean, I zoomed in on the image, and this person seems to have some sort of like cape or overcoat or something. And I believe that is Scarlet Witch.
Yes.
There's a part that I believe is set in like Edinburgh, Scotland or something. The UK, that's where I guess Vision and Scarlet Witch are eloping, I suppose.
I don't know. They're over there, you know, having secret sex over there or something. I don't know.
Well, Thanos and the Black Order invade Earth, and then that's probably when you see Vision get his butt spanked. I believe it's approximately midnight in Corvus Glaive. They take the mind gem from him, and then I'm sure maybe Cap and Scarlet Witch kind of pick him up and bring him back to the new Avengers facility.
Yes.
So I'm pretty sure that's Scarlet Witch back there because... okay, I was going to say this earlier because I don't want to kind of just chop block everything we got to say, but we've noticed, especially last year with Marvel trailers, we've noticed that they're out there lying. Disney's out there lying.
They will leave people out if they feel it is necessary for people not to know things.
I mean, when we saw like the Thor Ragnarok trailers, there was a lot of stuff that they left out.
Dude, the biggest, most glaring example of that was 100% Civil War.
Yeah.
Civil War. Remember the Civil War trailer? I think they left out Spider-Man. Like, completely.
Oh, yeah.
Like, the first time they showed the trailer, he was not in that lineup.
Yeah.
He was not in that original lineup where you see both sides, where you see Team Iron Man. Like, he was not Team Stark. He was not there.
Yeah.
So, like, they've definitely edited trailers to take people out. I was thinking it's possible that that money shot, that flyby scene where they're running in Wakanda, chasing George of the Jungle, it's possible Captain Marvel's flying next to War Machine.
It could be. It could be. I mean, this is not confirmed, but they said Captain Marvel, Ant-Man, and the Wasp are not going to be in this movie. But we don't know. We don't know. And at this point, they don't really have to reveal anybody. I mean, they revealed Spider-Man because that was big news. That was going to get more butts and seats. But at this point, I mean, who do they really have to reveal besides maybe Wolverine or an X-Men or something like that? Yeah. If they're going to have Captain Marvel, which I think would be cool, they could just keep it under wraps completely. And then people on the internet are going to spoil it when they go see it.
Yeah. But to be clear, in the trailer, I don't think that's Captain Marvel behind Cap. Because when you play in the slow motion, you can see that's hair behind him.
Yeah.
Now, it doesn't necessarily match up with what we see of Scarlet Witch's hair in like other scenes, but I think it might be the lighting. Because as we've seen with Black Widow, like they're in hiding. It's possible she dyed her hair, at some point. Yeah. But in the darkness that you see her in, like sort of like feeling out Vision's mind gem, like her hair doesn't quite look the color that it normally is. Mm-hmm. And it's possible because the dark, it looks differently than in the lighting of that other scene. But I personally think that's Scarlet Witch, especially since those are the four people who seem to be together fighting like Proxima Midnight, Corvus Glaive.
And
so
another key thing, and this is kind of touching on earlier reactions that I've heard of Black Panther, which comes out next week.
Next week, man.
I've heard a number of people say what you see in the trailer, like they've like de-res the trailer. Like there are a lot of special effects that are not in the trailer. Like maybe, the way Black Panther's suit looks, apparently it looks a lot better in the movie than it does in the trailer that they've showed, which probably means that these trailers are kind of cut up before they really add like the nice polish and sheen. So there could be some details that are just not shown in these trailers.
Sure.
That could be important to some of these speculations or some important things, or some things that may be spoilers at this point. I mean, some like you notice Captain America's suit is kind of dark. Maybe there's something that they're going to CGI in later. Maybe there's something that's not CGI'd on the Vision. I mean, you can kind of see that there's a little bit of coloring where Scarlet Witch may or may not be behind Cap in that picture we were talking about. Maybe she has a new suit. Maybe there's something else going on there with that character. So there's a lot of things. Again, it's not just things they're omitting, but it's just like even like details that will make a world of difference that they're just not adding. And it's crazy because these trailers still look magnificent.
Yeah, I mean, Cap's suit, if you look at it, it's clearly his actual like Captain America suit. Yeah, it's just tattered and like it looks like he ripped the star off. And like because if you look at the midsection, if you look at the pattern on his, you can actually see the outline of the star that was there. Yeah, like you can see it's clearly like like they may have made a new costume, but I think the intention is that this is a Captain America costume that has just been worn out, essentially. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So he's just been wearing it for a while. He probably smells like hot dookie. But I mean, imagine super soldiers. I mean, I don't know. Do super soldiers really sweat like that? I don't even know. I guess he does. He definitely does because they've definitely shown him sweating and girls swooning in movie theaters.
Well, I mean, I think didn't they explain in the first movie that like he has like no lactic acid buildup or something? Or
I don't know about that.
I just making that up? That's why he has like crazy stamina.
That out of the booty cheeks. You pulled that out of Vision, out of Vision's butt just now. I don't know about no lactic acid.
For those of you that don't know, when you cramp, like when you start to feel tired in your muscles, that's lactic acid building up in your muscles. And in comic book lore or the backstory of some of these characters, the reason Captain America is as much of a beast as he is because his body doesn't produce the lactic acid, so he has like crazy stamina, and he has his lungs operate at a much higher capacity, right? Muscle bone density, That's why he's such a beast. But yeah, maybe I just
think they just said
pulled
that
it betwixt my cheeks. I apologize.
I mean, it's called lactic acid, so I mean, it's clear. It's sort of in the name. That's where you got it from, man. But in the movies, they never said that. Yeah. In the comic books,
they probably. I remember reading that about, like, let's say Wolverine, but I'm pretty sure it's also the same with, like, Captain America and a lot of other characters with enhanced stamina.
And this cat might be slightly nerfed compared to this comic book. Might be. I'm not entirely sure about that. Like, until he punches and knocks out the Hulk, this Captain America is possibly nerfed. Because Captain America's out here. If Captain America could knock out the Hulk, that's an extreme. So I would think that he has limited lactic acid buildup considering what he's done.
Have we ever seen him tired, though? I don't think we've seen him tired in any of the movies.
Yeah, when he got his ass beat by Winter Soldier, he was like, I could do this all day. Like, he did that, didn't he? Then he do like a little, like, oh, I've been drinking too much whiskey, but I could do this all day. Like, he did some sort of, okay. I feel like they showed him, but that was really because he's getting his ass beat. That wasn't really like fatigue.
Maybe that was just like a concussion.
I mean, even that scene when he was getting beat up, like, he just had like a little bit of swelling. He wasn't like, I mean, the guy has also survived multiple gunshots. Yeah. Remember, he fell from like one of the helicarriers. Yeah. Into the wall. Like, that guy's like Captain America could.
Man's jumping off of like 10 floors, landing.
Right when he jumped out of the shield, or he jumped out of the shield building. Yeah. The Skillian jumped out the elevator. Damn, I love that movie. That's scene where he destroys that helicopter, that plane by himself. Yeah. My heart, every time I'm like, damn, this is beautiful. But let's swing on over, and I think this may be the last thing we talk about. But let's swing over to the Iron Man bleeding edge armor, man. Bong. I think we got a shot of that as well. Bong. But there's some people that's clearly, you know, an armor that's growing onto his body. Mm-hmm. Where it's going from, I don't think it's like one of those situations where it's in his skin and coming out. Mm-hmm. But I don't think it's, you know, I don't think it's like that. But isn't that Extremis? That's not bleeding edge, right? Isn't it the Extremis armor that comes out of his skin?
That is a great question. I think it is the Extremis, whatever it's called.
Yeah, but the bleeding edge armor is certainly growing onto him. And they look at his hand. People looking at his hand, saying his hand looks very small. And there's been like people speculating that Tony Stark has a mechanical hand. I don't think that's a mechanical hand. I think the suit is meant to look sleeker. And I think that it's just his hand just covered with the bleeding edge armor. So it doesn't look as thick, for lack of a better word, as like his hand with regular Iron Man armor on it. But there's a shot where he's with Doctor Strange. You know, shout outs to Facial Hair Bros if you guys are fans of the comic books. But there's a shot where Doctor Strange, I think we have a screenshot of that too, where Doctor Strange and Iron Man are standing next to each other. And if you take a look at Iron Man's armor, like, it looks really thin. Like, it doesn't look like the bulky Iron Man armor we've come to sort of know. Yeah. Predator Mag said the Extremis is from his bone marrow. So yeah, like coming out from like underneath his skin, essentially.
It's like nanotechnology born like it's like a bone sheath in his bones and comes out. But that's how this armor looks. It looks like the Extremis. It doesn't look like they're calling it bleeding edge, or people are calling it bleeding edge, but
right. But it looks super sleek. Yeah, is my point. It looks super duper sleek. I don't think he's missing a hand, personally. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's possible. I only laugh just because, like, I mean, if people are right about that, you know, we'll probably too much laugh because it's like, really? You think he's missing a hand because his hand looks really thin? Like, I don't know about that. Maybe. I don't think he's missing a hand. He definitely, if he does lose a hand, he loses it in the movie because he definitely has his hand. Well, I'll say this. He definitely has something that looks like a hand when he's in the Sanctum Sanctorum with Hulk, or rather Bruce Banner and Doctor Strange. So I don't know. What do you think, Ben?
I think he has his hand. I think it's maybe some CGI trickery going on there. It's a little unfinished, because if he lost his hand and earlier in the movie, and this is like a later scene, it would seem weird that he's suddenly like, because it's a deliberate shot, him taking the glasses off with that hand. I don't think, given the way Tony Stark is, that he would just suddenly just nonchalantly just be like, okay, well, I'm just used to using this fake hand all of a sudden. I don't know. It doesn't, like, logically, just to me, it doesn't entirely make sense that he will adjust within one movie. Because I think this movie takes place in, like, not even a day. Maybe like 2 days or something. Like, I think it's all in a short period of time.
Question for you.
Yeah.
Is the armor that Thanos punches him in the same as the armor he's wearing now? And this is not just for me. This is anyone in the live chat, in the comment section, if you want to elaborate. Because the question I have is, let's say, hypothetically, I'm not saying this is the case. Mm-hmm. Let's say, hypothetically, that scene happens before that scene that we see him in, and Thanos chops his hand off at that point. That he gets the new armor. Because to me, this armor that is showing, like, I feel like it looks bulkier in other pictures.
Yeah.
I feel like, or if it's the same armor, it looks bulkier in other pictures. Because the other pictures I saw, like the other images I've seen of Tony Stark, that suit definitely does not look as sleek as this one does. It's a bleeding edge armor. Unless the bleeding edge armor is one suit, and then the other suit he puts on is sort of a more powerful suit that isn't the bleeding edge armor. I'm saying a lot of things that probably are confusing people. What I'm saying is there's two suits in this film.
Yeah, I think there may be two suits. Okay. I think
that's totally in line with Tony Stark. He always does that.
I think what we see in this Manhattan scene is akin to the briefcase suit in Iron Man 2. It's like, okay, this is my real quick thing.
A more evolved version of that.
Like, this is my real quick thing. I got to put this on right now. And then when he's on that other planet or wherever he's at, he's like, okay, I'm just a normal person, so I'm gonna need some heavy duty recovery systems in this in case I get beat up out in space or launched into orbit or something. Or maybe he, this other suit allows him to just fly out into space. That's why it's bulkier. That's why it's bigger.
True. I didn't think about that. Maybe it's a space travel compatible suit, and it's totally within.
Yeah, time back to Iron Man 1 and Avengers 1, where in Iron Man 1 he's flying out into space and he freezes, malfunctions, falls back.
Yeah.
Avengers 1
altitude gets too high. Yeah. Right.
Avengers 1, I don't know if it's a power failure type of thing or something, but he's out in space and he passes out.
In Avengers 1, he's like legit, I think, in space, or at least in the wormhole. Like, I think he's like almost in space, like or literally in space. Like in the first movie, he was just high altitude. He didn't go to space. But in Avengers, he definitely was in some spatial territory right there.
Regardless,
and his suit gave out. Yeah.
He's gonna need need a suit that's specific for that. So
good point.
Maybe he does have two suits that look rather similar, or maybe again, Marvel trickery. The suits look different in the movie, but they're just making them look the same in this trailer.
Or it's possible that they do look the same in the movie, but in the trailer. Wait. No, it's possible they do look different in the trailer, and it happens to be the same suit, just sort of like a more thorough layering that's acquired, maybe attachments that come out of Tony Stark flying from random places, and they attach them and form a spacesuit. I don't know, but I can say this is totally in line and totally tradition for Tony Stark to have at least more than one suit for Avengers movies, because in Avengers 1, I believe he started out with the Mark V armor, where he's got the triangle emblem. I believe that's the Mark V.
Yeah.
And then he moves on to the Mark VI, if I'm not mistaken. That's the one where Loki throws him out and the armor flies out after him, and he throws him out of Avengers Mansion, and it flies out right after him and attaches to him midair. Mm-hmm. In Avengers Age of Ultron, he starts out with the armor from Iron Man 3. I'm not going to say the mark because I don't remember the mark. Mm-hmm. And then he moves on to a different armor during the Sokovia battle. So it's totally within Tony Stark keeping to have him rock more than one suit during Avengers movies. So, yeah.
And another thing I see some people mentioning in the chat, they actually do show the Guardians of the Galaxy. And it seems like Iron Man... here's another shot of the suit, too, in this one picture that I put up right now. But you see Iron Man, or you see Tony Stark, you see Peter Parker in the Iron Spider suit, and you see Doctor Strange.
That Iron Spider suit. My God, I love that suit, bro. I freaking love that suit, man. It's awesome.
They seem to be in space, maybe the Milano. But there's another shot where you see the Guardians. I think it's Drax, Gamora, and Star-Lord walking out of the Milano, like the hatch lowers, and I believe that they're coming onto Earth. But you do see them. You do see them in
that's
very strange.
Fantastic point. Yeah. Because in the leaked footage that I believe was shown during D23, and I say leaked footage because they showed leaked footage afterwards, but it was shown officially at D23. Mm-hmm. But there's we know that on that, wherever that planet is, that like red looking planet that Thanos is fighting Tony Stark in the official trailer that was released, in that leaked footage, we know for certain that Star-Lord at the very least is there, because Doctor Strange lays out some of his magic platforms, and Star-Lord runs on those platforms to shoot at something. We don't see what it is. We assume it's Thanos. So we know that there's at least Star-Lord there. We also know Nebula's there, as per this Pro Bowl or Super Bowl trailer. Yes. So like, that's a definite. We know that those characters are present. We also know, based on the official trailer, that Spider-Man is there, and we also know that Iron Man is there. So that works out perfectly, that they're on the Milano and they're traveling to wherever Thanos is. Maybe Thor's there as well, because there's a shot of him on the Milano as well.
Yeah. I don't. Did they show this in the official? Actually, I don't remember the official trailer, the first trailer for Avengers: Infinity War.
Did they show Nebula?
No, I was gonna say the shot where Thor smacks into the Milano's windshield. I don't know if that's in the leaked one or in the official one. But in the official one, you do see Thor ask the Guardians, like, "Who the heck are you guys?" At the very end. Sure. And then you see scenes of Thor like doing something weird out in space somewhere. There's a scene where you see Thor with Rocket and Teenage Groot. There's speculation, and I think it kind of makes sense because Thor, spoiler alert, Thor's hammer got destroyed. I mean, you saw that in the trailers anyway, but Thor's hammer got destroyed in Thor Ragnarok, and I think they're going to pull something out of the comics where he goes and develops his axe. Because when in the comics, he became unworthy. He wasn't able to lift the hammer anymore, so he used this axe that he used like from way back in the day before he used the hammer, and he's probably going to go wield that. And to be quite honest with you, I mean, Mjolnir, that's a staple of Marvel Comics. But that axe is pretty badass as well. And he's probably gonna look cool with the new arm. Like he's got that Winter Soldier thing going on, and he's got this badass new axe. It'd be kind of cool to see him do
he
that.
Lost. Wait. Thor has an arm thing?
Oh, I'm thinking about the comics. I'm sorry.
Damn, don't do that. I was like, yo,
I'm thinking about the comics.
When did Thor lose his arm?
My bad. Disregard that. He has both his arms. One eye. One eye in the movie. 2 arms, but in the comics, he has 2 eyes and 1 arm and an artificial arm. I apologize.
Yeah. I mean, that's another. Speaking of the eye, that's another example.
Bjorn. Thank you, AMJ.
Yeah. That's the name of the axe. But the eye is another example of things that they've changed in trailers, because in that original footage from D23, Thor had 2 eyes in that one, but they changed it for Thor Ragnarok, for the sake of Thor Ragnarok and not wanting to reveal spoilers. Which. Him losing his eyes is a pretty big spoiler, I would say, in Thor Ragnarok, because it sort of gives him the Odin look. Yeah. But yeah. DeepBoyce, man, any final words for this inaugural edition of the Spectacular Spoiler Show?
Yeah, I mean, thanks for everybody, for sticking with us and being awesome as always. I mean, we're going to do a lot more of these. There's always a lot of, just a lot of stuff that's on the cutting room floor that we're just like, man, we could still kind of make something out of this, make some chitlins at least.
yeah. I guess for a little bit of housekeeping, we'll say that, thank you guys for showing support, man, and coming out to these things. This is why we're doing these sort of live streams. And like I said, the day and the time of it can change. Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously, me and Boyce want to get to something that's more consistent, so that you guys sort of know when we're doing it. Sort of like the Thursday live streams that we're doing. Mm-hmm. While the Arrowverse shows and DC TV shows are live. But this essentially, we want to do we have some shows in mind. This is one of them where we sort of come to the table with news stories from the week, essentially, and we talk about them, we vibe with them. We got some other things that we want to implement. One of those is something where we each come with a topic and we sort of give our opinions on it. But either way, you're definitely going to receive more of us. Be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. The league needs your support. We're trying to grow, and we're trying to, do the best we can to get out there. Turn off notifications so you don't have to miss these live streams. You can come out, hang with us. It's the best way to contribute to the overall conversation if you show up here live. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't comment on the videos, because we love to hear you guys comment, see you guys comment, and read your comments. Let us know if you have any suggestions. Let us know if you have any names for what we can call this. I'm going with Spectacular Spoiler Show. Any other video ideas we have, any of the live stream ideas we have, we're welcome for, you're welcome to post some ideas for names. Did I get my new job yet, Jason Todd? Thank you. Also, thank you guys for continually showing like concern about that and like just being dope. I do have the job. I actually just got approved for an apartment. So I'm still trying to figure out when my moving date is. So that's why, once again, there's not like a wealth of content on Spectacular Spoiler. I've just been busy. And DeepBoyce has been busy with life stuff, but we're still here, and that's sort of why we do this live stream, so that we're face to face with you, and you guys can sort of see that we're here to be here and talk with you guys, and that we're not going away. But thank you guys for all the support, man. Like it really means a lot that you guys you guys ask, and you guys so concerned and you support. Like I appreciate it, and it's a tough time because I'm like leaving New York City. I love New York City, but I'm going to West Virginia. It's tough, but you guys throwing support my way. It's always appreciated, man. It definitely makes it a lot easier to sort of focus and put my mind towards things, because you guys are rooting for me out there in the hole of spoilers, man. So thank you guys for all the support. But with that being said, we'll see you guys on the next one. We're gonna see you guys. If you're watching this live, we'll see you tomorrow. If you're watching this as a video, our Thursday live streams are definitely gonna happen. They post Friday morning now. So you'll definitely see like our Arrowverse conversation where we talk about bum asses and power rankings. So don't miss that. Hit that notifications button so that you can be up to date with the latest and greatest coming from the Spectacular Spoiler, including that live stream. We'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you guys for the support. Don't forget to like the video. Feel free to comment. And let us know what you guys think of this show, too. That's something that we need. Feedback. Always need feedback. But we'll see you guys on the next one. Me and DeepBoyce, we're heading out. Peace out.
I'm going to leave you guys with this 1,000-yard stare from Thanos as we leave.
Thanos is tight,
giving
man.
You guys the
business. Thanos looked like he was in a school cafeteria and heard somebody overheard somebody talking about him. You know what I'm saying? You see that one kid that give you that stare from far away, like, yo, after school, man. Beating your ass after school.
It's because he saw Tony Stark got them new Jordans. I'm about to go jumping for them Jordans.
Thanos saw somebody talking to death, and he was like, "That's my girl. Who you think you're talking to? Who you think you're talking to?" That's Thanos over there when he finds out Josh Brolin's also in Deadpool 2. Like, what? How you gonna be in another movie? Thanos over here looking tight, man. He must have got less money than expected on his tax returns.
Thanos out here hearing us talking about he's not a mutant, man. He's just a little tight. He's a little tight. We didn't invite him to the Spectacular Spoiler Show. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he's upset, man, because he got multiple butt cracks on his face. And he heard us talking about all those. I was making all those butt jumps earlier. We got a little sensitive.
My man got to floss his chin cheeks, man. Actually, I think he's tight because there was no Aquaman trailer at the Super Bowl. It's like, I want that Aquaman trailer. Where's my DC? He heard them making another Harley Quinn show. He's like, damn.
Thanos went to Walgreens and heard they out of chapstick, man, so he's upset. Oh, man.
My man caught a glimpse of New Age Aunt May. He's thinking out how to holler.
Thanos heard the X-Men were coming. He's like, are they going to be in a movie tomorrow? We were like, nah. He's like, what? In his face. I want the X-Men now. I'm doing my stuff. I'm about to roll up to Fox headquarters, make this deal happen. At least Thanos looks purple now.
Yeah. I mean,
people were saying he looked pink a little bit.
Yeah, people were actually kind of tight. I was like, yeah, he looks fine. It just looks like purple Josh Brolin.
Oh man, we'll see you guys up next one, man.